Good morning, Dr. Hickey, Mr. Gallagher, Mr. Patterson, Mrs. Darabertis, faculty, and fellow students. How many times do you have to fail before you consider yourself a failure? 10, 100, 1,000? I used to think there was a number, but I learned the real answer to this question. It's when you decide to quit. I want to tell you about a version of myself from 2 years ago. I used to be upset if I was not perfect. When I got a bad grade, I would be upset at the careless mistakes I made. If I had a bad game, I would dwell on it for days after. I would think about how I could have improved or made another save. I took it personally and it brought me down. Then I decided to do some reading. Not reading for school, but reading because it was interesting and would help me grow as a person. Over the course of a year, I read 4 books that changed my view of the world. Carol Dweck's book, Mindset, taught me about the advantages of having a growth mindset. Angela Duckworth's Grit taught me about being persistent in everyday life. Jocko Willink shows how discipline can lead to being more free in life, and discipline equals freedom. And Mark Manson shows how you can lower anxiety by focusing on what is truly meaningful in the subtle art. These books taught me a lot, but the most important thing wasn't just about gaining knowledge. It was about changing my way of thinking. That is what these authors inspired me to do. They helped me to develop a growth mindset. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how inspiring it is to have a growth mindset and using 3 simple words every day to help me become more positive. Yet, good, and believe. In the book, Mindset, Carol Dweck wrote about her experiences at Columbia University with new students. Out of all of the applicants, her department only let in 6 students every year. Some of the students felt like complete imposters after just one day because they knew how to understand high school, but they didn't understand college. Yet. Those students didn't use the word yet. The difference between a negative thought and adding the word yet is the difference between what Carol Dweck calls a fixed and a growth mindset. A fixed mindset is when someone believes that their skills are fixed. So you are either good at something or bad at something, and it can't be changed. People with a fixed mindset also avoid trying new things because they are afraid of failing or looking bad. In terms of what they say they are good at, they will ignore criticism and feedback and blame others or the situation on them performing poorly. People with a growth mindset, on the other hand, are open to learning new things. They are curious and want to explore the world around them. This means that they learn new things and keep getting smarter. The people with growth mindsets are better at solving problems because they look for new solutions to the challenges they face. They also learn faster by challenging themselves and are more positive because they aren't trying to be perfect. It is proven that when people make mistakes, those with a fixed mindset use the parts of their brain responsible for emotions and outcomes, leading to them not trying again if they fail. However, when those with a growth mindset make a mistake, they use the part of their brain for learning, making them smarter and more logical. The word yet inspires me to try again after a mistake and to keep learning. In Jocko Willink's book, Discipline Equals Freedom, his response to a complaint from a student is good, because it can help you learn from your mistakes. Are you tired from practice? Good. It means that you are working hard. You did poorly on a test? Good. See what you did wrong and study harder for the next one. You missed an important assignment? Good. You can improve your time management and get the next one in on time. Or you can turn in that assignment late to get back some points. It helps turn inconveniences and missteps into opportunities by looking at what you can learn from a failure instead of just the outcome. The word good can also help build grit and perseverance. In the book Grit, Angela Duckworth studied students at West Point, which is also known as the United States Military Academy. In total, 14,000 people apply to West Point, which is cut down to just 4,000 by athletic and academic ability. From that, only 1,200 students are admitted and enrolled into the school. And yet, after going through all the trouble to get in, 1 in 5 students end up dropping out in the first 2 months. Those students were not prepared for the first 2 months at West Point, infamously known as Beast. These first 2 months are the hardest time for those at West Point, with each schedule where a cadet wakes up at 5 a.m., works out and studies all day, and then goes to sleep at 10 p.m. One cadet's description of Beast: you are challenged in a variety of ways in every developmental area, mentally, physically, militarily, and socially. The system will find your weaknesses, but that's the point. West Point toughens you. The cadets who do make it through say good to the pain they endure, the challenges they face, and the obstacles they overcome. That is why they go on to be very successful in life. They aren't afraid to make mistakes. I was able to use good to my advantage after having a few rough games. I was able to analyze video of what went wrong and what I can improve on. I realized that I was preparing for my games wrong, so I needed to eat healthier before games, do a more intense warm-up, and stay off my phone in the locker room. When I put these into place, it helped me to perform well in the Invitational, which helped us win the tournament. You had a poor game? Good. Good inspires me to be resilient and persist when things go wrong. The last word is believe. Believe can give you the strength to do difficult things. In his book, The Subtle Art, Mark Manson talks about his perseverance through life and asks this question. If I ask you, what do you want out of life? And you say something like, I want to be happy and have a great family and a job I like, your response is so common and expected that it doesn't really mean anything. A more interesting question, a question that most people never consider is, what pain do you want in your life? What are you willing to struggle for? Believing in yourself isn't just about being positive. It is also about choosing what is worth the struggle. You can decide what you want to say good to or that you can't do yet. When I made the Pee Wee Quebec hockey team, I was excited because I was going to go to one of the best Pee Wee tournaments in the entire world. However, about 2 months before the tournament, our team was told that we couldn't go because our team's invitation to the tournament was revoked. We were then told that we could either leave the team or join them for the Bell Capital Cup, which is an alternative to Pee Wee Quebec. Many decided to leave, but I stayed. I worked as hard as I could to be ready for the tournament. Then, after playing through 7 games in just 4 days, we reached the championship and won in a shootout. When we got to go to the Bell Capital Cup, I decided to believe in myself and worked as hard as I could, and ended up winning the entire tournament. Ted Lasso has a sign in his team's locker room that just says believe. He made it to give his players something to play for. He gave them something to say good to, something to point to when things get hard. It reminds them that they can believe they can achieve anything if they work for it. Because of it, his team starts playing better. The key is that they didn't believe they were already good enough. They believed they could become good enough. Remember, growth comes from persistence. Say yes to challenges, good to failures, and believe in your purpose. Together, these will give you the strength to succeed. Upland teaches us that the most important of the 4 A's is not athletics, arts, or academics, but attitude. And a big part of that is approaching it with a growth mindset. It takes many attempts to do something right, but just keep trying, because you only truly fail when you give up. Thank you.